Hello, good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon from whichever part of the world you're joining. And this is Sonali, and today we are back with another episode of the PSAI talk show. This is season 4, and this is episode number 2. I hope I'm audible and you all can see and hear me. So, right. So, hello everyone, and I can see Brigadier Sushil sir here. So, thank you, sir. And we are, as I said, back with another episode, and a very eminent guest is there today with us. So, before introducing our guest, I'm just going to tell a little about PSAI. So, what is PSAI? It's a Professional Speakers Association of India, and it's a strong community to help you enhance your professional speaking career globally. And we are extremely proud to be part of the Global Speakers Federation, an organization of 17 national speaking associations. So at PSAI, what is done actually? So you get, as a member, you get the mentoring, you get to network, you get to master your skills and also earn professionally. So here, all of us, we believe in creating a generous and a creative and friendly environment where everyone can thrive. So this is the best part of PSAI, I believe. And I am Sonali, and I joined PSAI just 2 months ago, and I'm already here hosting this show. I'm so thankful to the team for this opportunity, and each and every people for guiding me here, because I think this platform is so beautiful that you just ping and you get an answer, and people are always there to support you. So I can see Ram Prasad ji here. Welcome, Ram Prasad ji, to the show. And now I'm just going to introduce our today's speaker. So I'm going to welcome Mr. Aniket Amdekar. And what is so special about today's speaker? So he's a cyber security expert. Welcome, Aniket, to today's show. And a little about Aniket, that he has been a cybersecurity professional since 2007. Aniket loves investigating cyber attacks and spread awareness about it to global audiences. So, as you can see, he already has 18 years of experience, and he is currently working as a general manager, cyber defense education in an edtech company called Great Learning. He has spoken on All India Radio recently, and the topic was about online safety for Indian citizens. He is a thought leader in this domain and has more than 12,000 followers on LinkedIn. Yay! So, Aniket is a founder and CEO of CyberCrest, a cybersecurity consulting company that helps organizations to secure their data and their networks as well. As a keynote speaker, Aniket has spoken in Miami, Singapore, and many other Indian cities. He has been an active Toastmaster since 2015, and it has been a game changer for him personally and professionally. He recently completed his second DTM. He is a motivational speaker who loves to spread positivity through his stories. Wow, that's simply wow. And welcome, Aniket, to this amazing show. And I can already see that Chimu has already joined, and we are looking forward to more people joining online soon. So, how do you feel, Aniket, being here? And just do tell us a little about your professional journey.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sonali. And good evening to everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depending where you are joining in from. And Sonali, you asked me about my professional journey. I've completed my engineering in 2007, and since then, I started to work in the field of cybersecurity. And that journey is still ongoing. And when I started, I used to For the first 7 years of my career, I have worked in the domain of technical support, where I used to watch really world class products break every day. And when these products break, they don't break alone. Along with them, a lot of companies go down. And
Right.
a prime example of that we saw just a couple of days ago, when, because of an update that was sent out from CrowdStrike,
Yes.
Microsoft went down. So many of their platforms went down. So many companies. So you see, in this field of cybersecurity, there is an inside joke that you should reserve at least 6 weekends for emergency work. And I would say this year one is already done, because this weekend so many IT teams were working on bringing their technology back, bringing their websites back, their networks back, and things like that. Now,
True.
while that was going on, like I said, I started in technical support. So I used to work on different security products, working with customers all over the world, and that was great exposure. But then I decided to move into solution architecture kind of a domain. And this is where I joined Akamai. And in Akamai, I was working on cloud security, implementing different kinds of solutions in there, mainly working on defending websites from different types of threats. Did you know that for a travel company, the biggest threat is a virtual network of all robots? It's called as a botnet. These botnets will send huge amount of traffic and take down the websites. Also that all of the passengers who were looking at site A will now start looking at site B. So you see, the cybersecurity is a really different world, and that is the thrill which I love in this world. Now, as a part of this entire journey, I then started to expand my horizons and work on the entire cybersecurity management of a financial company. This is where I became the information security manager, and I was reporting to the chief information security manager there. And
Right.
during that stint, we had around 40 people that I was working with. During this time, we saw different types of threats. You see, in the first half of my career, I was I was the lawyer of a product. Okay, I was representing the product company. In the second half of my career, I have been the consumer of products. So, as I have seen both sides of the table. Now, during this entire time, teaching also became a passion. That's where I started to teach in Stanford University, also teaching in the UT Austin. And during the COVID-19, where many of us, we're all stuck in at home. During that COVID-19 lockdown period, that was my teaching time. That's where I was learning how to teach using Zoom and doing multiple initiatives. So that's about a quick gist about my professional journey, starting from technical support, going on to become a customer, and now in the teaching domain, teaching cybersecurity to people all over the world, mainly working with those people who are new in security, who want to get in this domain. So that curiosity that they have, that energy that they have, I'm helping them to channel that energy so that they put the hard work in the right direction and get in the domain of cybersecurity.
Right. So that's very very interesting, Aniket. That the shift from uh, product to teaching, though everything is interlinked, and your initiative to teach the young ones is also amazing. Already, I think Brigadier Sir has sent an message, mind blowing and scary too. So yes, we all faced that recently, and that's very interesting to know about your journey. So now here, like as on this talk show, we do encourage people to join PSAI, and we want them to know more about it. So where did you hear about PSAI first, or how did you come to know about it?
Sure. So I heard about PSAI just like many of the people are hearing about PSAI on LinkedIn. That's when my good friend Chimu, she posted. about a conference, an annual conference of professional speakers happening in Chennai in the year 2022. And that's where my interest was piqued. Looking at that post, I read up a little and I immediately called up Chimu, and she told me about this event. From there, it was a leap of faith. And there is a quote that I strongly believe in. This quote is from Tony Robbins, if I'm not wrong. And he says, if you want to be a champion, you need to learn like a champion. And that's why I thought that, okay, I need to go here and be a part of this conference. I knew nothing about that conference, but then when I reached there, I took so many notes, and that's really where I came to know about PSAI. And in that entire experience, I decided to join this community right there and then. So on the second day of the conference, when they mentioned that, okay, we are going to announce next year's conference, I said, okay, I'm joining in as a community member and in the next year's conference. So that was my journey on how I connected with this community.
That's wonderful. So after you said this, two things that come to my mind is, one is obviously, like, you took that first step of going to Chennai and attending it, where most people would, lay back and say what I have to do and why should I go, and you always need to take that first step and experiment. And actually you found it very, very useful. So
Yeah.
that's, I think, beautiful part. And also I think your dear friend Chimu is already here to support you also, so that's a good thing. And the second part which comes to my mind is, like, when you decided to join, initially also it happens that things seem very glamorous or very nice when we attend at the first instant, but as we
Yeah.
join a community or as we grow in it, we find it very dull or not very enterprising. So what was your experience with PSAI? Was it like uh, a game changer, or how it was?
Sure, sure. All right. So before I get there, I do want to share some things that, when I started to learn to speak, that was in Toastmasters, and I spent about 8 years working on that craft in Toastmasters. And I was getting introduced, and I was getting called by different corporates to provide some sessions. But then I wasn't really identifying myself as a professional speaker. And this is where our lives are defined by the standards that we set for ourselves. At that point of time, I was thinking, okay, I have reached where I want to be when it comes to public speaking, until I joined PSS. Because in PSS, I saw Lenny Revich, somebody who was 86 years back then. When he took the stage, he rocked that entire forum for the next 1 hour. And I was thinking, wow, I am still a student and I have a long way to go when it comes to speaking. And I need to learn from these masters. So, yes, the experience has been really great. After joining the community, I have been taking part in the different initiatives that we run, be it Find Your Voice, where we get a chance to deliver a small speech of about 8 to 10 minutes, and members from different chapters get connected. That's also where the power of networking really comes into picture, because we are the average of 5 people that we hang out with. So if I want to be a professional speaker, I need to hang out with professional speakers to learn the trade from them, to learn how does how is the marketing done, what are the different characteristics, what are the different traits of a professional speaker. All of these terms I was introduced when I joined the community. So that was quite an eye-opening journey. Next comes our hunger, because I would say joining any community is like joining the gym, where our interest is like this at the first 2 weeks, and then slowly it starts to diminish, and until we have that realization and we bring it back up again. So this is where, being a part of this community, the moment I joined, I was attending a lot of these sessions that happen, and also joined a few groups as well. Like we have a group for book reviews and book club. And because I'm into reading, I love reading books. So I joined that immediately. Um, Beyond that, we have had a few more initiatives as well. For example, there is a mentoring initiative that has been recently started, and it's simply mind blowing. Kudos to Brigadier Sushil sir for starting the whole initiative there. So then, becoming a part of these initiatives and saying yes, raising your hand that yeah, I want to be a part of this. I think that has been the learning, and the ability to quickly adapt to the changing situations. That's another one as well. So, when it comes to the professional speaking associations, learning how much should you charge, who should you getting in touch with if you want to be a professional speaker, I think all of these are nuggets that are being shared by our experienced members, and that's where you really need to be a sponge to keep absorbing the things that are coming your way. The better sponge you are, the better you learn. And I would say I'm just on the beginning of starting to be a sponge, and already starting to see benefits.
Right, right. And I absolutely love, Aniket, the kind of analogy you have given in your talk, be it, comparing it to joining a gym. It happens, I think, almost with everyone, universal phenomena, that initially we are very high and then we don't connect. And also about, you mentioning about the power of networking. Yes, very true. And I think I'm also in that initial stage of being a sponge, where very few things I've absorbed till now but need to learn a lot. And of course, yes, the mentoring initiative which you mentioned is a brilliant initiative which started by Brigadier Sir, and the members are going to benefit immensely. Also, just a word that Colonel Sayaji Nikam sir has also joined. Welcome, sir. So that's great to know. Aniket, like, for the benefit of the audience, can you just tell us a little bit more about PSS, the Professional Speakers Summit?
Sure. A professional speakers summit is an annual conference that happens, and the next year's conference will be in Mumbai. So where we've got different chapters. There is one in Hyderabad, there is one in Mumbai, we've got Bangalore, we've got Delhi, and every year one chapter takes up the role of a host. So when I joined PSAI at that time, it was Chennai chapter. Then this year it was the Delhi chapter. Next year it's going to be the Mumbai chapter. Now, in this conference, multiple things happen. As a member, you get the opportunity to launch your book, and I seized that opportunity this year. In this conference, you get to hear from the champion speakers who all have their own niche. For example, I think this year we had a speaker who was specializing in becoming a TEDx speaker. How do you become a TEDx speaker? And we learned so many things in that one segment. So you will have both the days of agenda where you will learn from a lot of these people. But then one of the things that I really admire about the PSS is the way the agenda has been shaped, where in any other conference you will find session after session, and then there is a lunch break or there is a tea break, and you have to use those 10 minutes to have as many conversations as you can. But in PSS, we have got separate sections that have been carved out with the idea that you need to network with people. So with that kind of dedication, when there is a clarity of thought, that clarity reflects in the design of the program as well. And I think that certainly happens in the PSS. The third thing which I also loved about PSS is towards the end of the conference, or towards the end of the day, I think in day one and in day two, there is a section where the speakers who are going to have their own breakout rooms, all those speakers will come on the stage and they will pitch their sessions. And the audience gets to choose, okay, this session seems to be interesting. Oh no, I want to go there also. So then you really get to see what are the different ways in which you can learn, and you really wish that the technology to make a clone of yourself existed on that day. So in both the PSS 2022 and 23, we had this opportunity and we had brilliant learnings in each of the breakout room sessions as well. I think these are some of the things that you have. Now there is one more thing which I missed to mention, and that's where a lot of times you will also see that connections happen, and these connections are the one that really stay with us as well, along with our learnings. Where in the venue where the conference is happening, you will see all the people coming up together during breakfast, maybe after dinner, maybe after lunch. In the morning you will see people walking, and it's like a university that's always going on. Oh yes, Brigadier Sir mentioned about the
Yes.
awards night.
Oh, that's right.
Awards night, how can you forget that? So awards night is the one where it's like you have got your own filmfare section which is there, and you should really attend the awards night. It's like the highlight of the conference. So definitely all of these are the points, or these are the reasons that motivate me to wait for the 2025, where I get to travel to Mumbai and be a part of PSS again.
Wonderfully explained, and very in a very structured way you explained it. Thank you for that. So, and also I think Brigadier Sir added about the awards night. So coming back to our the speaker journey at PSAI, when was your first paid engagement in PSAI actually? Like, how did you find it, and how was your experience about it? So please share with
Sure,
us.
sure. My first paid engagement was it was just before the COVID-19 started. That's where I was called by a college, and they wanted me to deliver a session to all of their professors. And that's where the proverbial question that haunts a lot of new speakers. When they called me, they had heard about me, they had my profile, they called me and said, "Sir, are you available?" I said, "Yes, I'm available. I would like to come." Second question, "How much do you charge?" Now, that was a baffling question because I had never been asked that question before. So, what number do I mention? But then the wise words of my mentor, Arun Ramaratnam, came to me, and where he had said, "Whenever you are unsure, always get back." So I said, "Okay, I will come back to you." I spoke with a couple of my friends, and at that time I gave them a number, and it worked out really well. And I was like so happy. I made a note about it in my diary. So I maintain a diary or a journal called as the gratitude journal. So whenever I get an engagement because somebody referred me, I quickly make a note about that, so that I will always remember that this person was the one who referred me, and they spoke on my behalf with somebody. That's really a special thing, right? I remember one such incident where I had just won a contest in Toastmasters. And at that time, one of the members that I was mentoring, she wrote a poem, and then she posted that in our group. So I wrote down that poem as well. So having that gratitude journal just helps a lot in getting back to those memories. But yes, now when I received that first engagement, to prepare for that was also a challenge, because it wasn't the dearth of information. It was more about, I have so many things to share. What all things do I share in that 1 hour? So that's where I realized that I need to learn how to craft a keynote speech, and that's where the learnings also began. This was before I joined PSAI. So that was my first ever engagement with a college, speaking with college professors.
That's really brilliant. And apart from your paid engagement, I think sharing about your gratitude journal, uh, we express our gratitude for that you shared it with us. That's really nice.
Thank
And
you.
yes, what you said is right, that preparation is a big part of speaking. So
Yeah.
what are some of the tips or points would you would like to share with the viewers, that how do you actually prepare for the topic? And yours is a cybersecurity related, right? That's your
Yeah.
niche.
Right.
So yes.
Sure. A few things that I would like to say. One of them is there is no time to get ready. So you have to be ready. Expecting a call which might come and say, "Are you available?" In that case, you can't say, "Okay, I'm in the process of creating a keynote. I will come back to you." That is not the answer you should give. Which is why you should always have at least one keynote speech always up your sleeve that you are ready to go live and start speaking in as early as half an hour. That's one thing. Now, the second one is about audience awareness. Who is calling you matters a lot, because the true hero of any speech is not the speaker, it's not the keynote, it's also not the platform, it is the audience. And based on the audience, your keynote will change, it will evolve. And that is what actually happens with our speeches, they evolve over time. And which is why understanding more about who you are speaking with, that is something that you have to develop, an understanding of your audience. Now, coming to the keynote itself, choosing that keynote's title also becomes important. Sometimes, if we keep a really basic or a simple title, something like Basics of Cybersecurity, if you mention that to anyone, any event organizer, they wouldn't be willing, or they may not be willing to pay a good amount for a keynote which says Basics of Cybersecurity. So you need to have a hook line. We need to have a really good tagline or title of our keynote, which goes along with our poster, which goes along with our introduction. Now, when it comes to the preparation, that's another thing that I want to share. Is one of the ways to prepare, like I said earlier, you have to be ready, you can't get ready. Another one very important point is to have our speaker profile. That speaker profile mentions about our credibility, what kind of work you have done, what kind of events have you spoken at. All of these things are amalgamated in that one-page document, which can represent you in your absence. And I believe that was also one of the biggest learnings that I had in this journey. Now, then, what is the best and what is the latest? Okay, I'll repeat: what is the best, what is the latest? For example, somebody might ask, what is the best way to do cybersecurity? And then I have an answer ready for that. Another question is, what is the latest thing that's happening in cybersecurity? And I should have an answer ready for that as well. Because if you are a speaker and you have already delivered this keynote 20 different times in 20 different places, that keynote is still new for this new audience. But then it should be in line with the current events that are happening in the world. Yesterday, I was at an event, it was a speech competition. And one of the persons who delivered a speech actually aligned his speech with the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. And that awareness of the current social situation gets you a lot of points. And I think that's also something that any new speaker should be aware of.
Very true. Absolutely wonderful points. And I'm just going to summarize those points quickly for everyone. So, you have spoken about being ready, being aware of the audience, choosing an interesting or engaging title, making your speaker's profile ready, keeping it ready always, and knowing the best and latest. So I would also call it like, being relatable with the current situation,
Yeah.
also being relatable, like you mentioned about the cyber attack also. So that is something very, very,
Right.
those are all interesting points you shared, and very beautiful points and very helpful points.
In fact,
So, how,
I
yes,
would like
yes,
to add something on that.
please.
Um, See, when it comes to becoming a professional speaker, there is a process to that. And that process is very well crafted in our PSAI community. And that process is nothing but the professional speaker's competencies. So there are 8 different competencies that every speaker needs to have. And those competencies are content development, performance mastery, you need to have business development, you need to have products with you. For example, if you are going to an event where you are the speaker, and the event organizers is they are really impressed with your speech, and they say, Sonali, what else can we do with you? I mean, that keynote was really great. At that point of time, we as a speaker need to have at least two more products with us, again, ready, that we can talk to them about. That could be maybe a training program for their employees, it could be a personal one to one coaching, or some kind of a mastermind that you can start specifically for them. So, having that ready as a product is also one of the competencies for a professional speaker. Then we've got the strategic and operational business management, where, like, how do you share your details with the company? Do you have any idea on the invoicing? How are you going to send the invoice to them? So that all becomes a part of how you manage your business as a speaker. Then comes platform mechanics, where you need to know how the different types of platforms are working. To give you an example, a speaker might be a complete master with Zoom, but then last minute surprise, life is filled with surprises. The client will say, yes, we want your virtual keynote, but then we don't have Zoom. We use Microsoft Teams, or we use some other software that we have never heard of before. And now they're going to have you to speak using that software. So, how do you get yourself ready for that kind of a platform? That is known as the platform mechanics. So, we speakers need to be aware of how to work with that and how to adapt to that situation. We then have the professional awareness, where, according to the company that you are about to speak to, what is the definition of professional awareness according to them? If I'm speaking with a technology company, somebody who has a really good product, for them, the definition of industry is very different. But then, if there is a chartered accountants association, and now they call me as a speaker, their definition of professionalism is very different than the product company. So then, getting the idea of what your client does and what matters to them is also quite important for us. I think it's just a quick gist of what I would say. But then, this entire framework is very well explained in the different master classes that we have. The PSD series, the Professional Speakers Development Series, which is another great initiative that PSAI runs, where on a regular interval, I think every month, we have got one competency that gets covered in depth along with Q&A, where you really get to learn how to develop that one competency and how to go deep into that product, into that one specific vertical. Because a lot of times what happens is, we start to dabble, we become master dabblers. We know a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit of that also, but we don't go deep into any of those, which is why one competency a month gives us that time to go deep into that one concept, really internalize it, practice it, and then you go to the next level.
Absolutely. I think, yes, these are very, very, I would say, uh, in a way, very minor points or very minute points which you have pointed out, which have a very bigger impact, because we tend to push them back and we don't realize what impact they are going to create. So, yes, paying attention to details is as much important, and this is the background work which is very much required. So, another point to add to what you have already said, which Brigadier Sir has added, is what's the best, what's the latest, and what's the futuristic trend. So, yes,
Yeah.
being aware of all these, I mean, along with your topic, what you're going to tell them is extremely important. Very, very well shared, Ankit. And moving ahead, how do you
Oh,
get
I
the
think
best
um,
out?
I think
Yeah, sorry.
Brigadier Sir just mentioned something in the chat. He
Yes,
mentioned
yes.
about know your audience, and then there is something called as an audience journey. So this year's PSS, we had a great session on the audience journey. And
Okay.
in fact, I remember when I attended the PSS 2022, at that time, when I had made notes, At that time also, I remember a discussion with Mariana Pascal, and I mentioned that in my notebook. And before this session today, I was just going through my notes from 2022 conference, and it felt like I'm back in Chennai. And when Lenny Ravich said that Chennai is, he said, it's a steam bath which is accompanied by love and affection, and that was a really well quoted quote by Lenny. Yeah, please back to you.
No, no, that's really great that you shared. And also, I can already vouch for the PSD series which you mentioned because I attended one of the sessions which has just started, so I can completely vouch for it. And thanks for adding that also about the audience journey. So, can you tell the audience just more about how can you get the best out of PSCI? Like,
Okay,
what can they do more and how to get the best out of it?
sure. How to get the best out of your membership? I think this could be a question on behalf of all of our members, because every week we are seeing new members joining in from all over India, and in fact world as well. Because so many of these global speakers who attended the PSS, the conference, they loved the community so much that even they became a part of our PSAI community on that day itself. Okay, now coming back to your question, how do you get the best out of your membership? I would say you need to be consistent in your presence. That is, taking notes, learning consistently from the different initiatives that are going on. But then let's not become the master learner, but becoming the master implementer. So, how do you practice that? So, the concept that you just heard, can you use that concept and align that with your keynote, or align your keynote with that concept? Create a new version of it. Then second one is ensuring that we have got a pipeline of work to do. That's another one where it could be at your chapter level, it could be at the national level as well, where becoming a part of your chapter's internal excom, that gives a lot of value. In fact, if you want to volunteer, members are welcome to volunteer for becoming a part of the organizing committee of the PSAI. And that's where they also learn a lot of things while arranging for the entire thing, the entire events that happen. So many things that happen in the background. So that's another way in which you can get benefited after becoming a member. And the third is just ensuring that you continue to evaluate yourself on the 8 competencies, and whichever competency is less than 3, try to bring it up to the next level and to the next level. So as you have got this surgical approach, the surgical approach towards every competency, I think that's going to be the secret to success for any member in PSAI.
That's true. And we have another input from Brigadier Sir that the PSD series, the
Yeah,
striking factor is that the world's best experts are invited to deliver a masterclass. Nowhere else you can get this privilege. And I
absolutely.
totally second this. Yeah, yeah, yes, yes. I mean, this is absolutely true because you're getting so much of knowledge from various experts that at times it's overwhelming, and how much are you going to really absorb and
Yeah,
implement? The very key word
true,
that you said is implement. I'll also welcome
true.
here Harish Mehta ji, that he's also joined us. Welcome, sir.
Welcome, Harish.
Right.
See, one thing I want to mention about this is that a lot of times what I have done is when these sessions are over, then I get into a call with a fellow member and we discuss about what we just heard over in the session and how can we change. Is there anything that we can change? I'm sure there are a lot of things, but that's where having that quick conversation with a buddy of yours also helps. And which is why we have started a buddy program as well in the PSAI, where in the buddy program every new member will be assigned a buddy, and that buddy will help you to have a very smooth transition, helping you to know what all things are there. Like you said earlier, It becomes overwhelming when there are so many resources that are suddenly, given to you. Where do I start? And that's where the buddy can actually help you to guide you to know where to start. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I can relate with this because being a new member, initially I think I felt a little lost also. However, the members, whoever I have pinged and asked for help, in spite of their busy schedules, they have called me, they have messaged me, replied every question of mine. Be it Easter, be it Santosh, be it Brigadier Sir, be it Chimu, be it Anupriya. I mean, each and every person. I might have missed also few names, but everyone is available for you, and it's really amazing because each one have their own work to do. They have their professions to follow, and some people also have a different topic, different niche other than their profession. Those two are totally
True.
different, so they balance it out and they guide you through, which I think is very very encouraging, and that's the beauty of it. And all these programs like the mentoring program, the buddy system, the upcoming events, the keynote labs, everything is one step at a time, and it's the PSD series. Everything is helping, and it helps you grow, and it's all it forms a I can say garland at the end where all is weaved in one thread, and that's beautifully put across. So thanks,
That was a
Aniket.
really nice analogy there, Sonali.
Okay, thank you. And I would also like to ask you that what all recommendations you have for the upcoming speakers here. Any
I would
recommendations?
say, uh
Yes,
if
please.
if I heard you right, you said recommendations for the upcoming speakers.
Yes, yes, please.
Thank you. I would say one of the advice that I would have is to read, because we need to expand our horizons consistently. Reading from the people in your domain, reading across domains is also important. Where a lot of times, if somebody is into health and wellness, their focus of reading will be limited to that domain only, and sometimes that becomes a limiting belief, where you need to read different kinds of books, and develop that ability to connect two points that are completely different than each other. Where if you are able to connect to, let's say, cybersecurity with an airport, those are completely different points, and if you are able to make that connection, that is truly where we evolve as a speaker. So then expanding your reading really helps. Second thing is, for any upcoming speaker, who are the best in your domain. For example, in cybersecurity, when I say, there are many people who are really successful, they are known as the voice of security in India, and I am connected with them. I follow them closely, and I know what all things they are speaking about. That gives me a general direction that in my domain of security, what kind of topics are people talking about right now. How is that helpful? When I'm speaking with any new prospect client, in that case, I know exactly what is the current, I would say, the current beat of the market. So that's very important to know. So, like I said earlier, you are the average of five people that you hang out with. So, identify who are the leaders in your domain, not just in public speaking, but who are the leaders in your domain, and are you connected with them on LinkedIn? Have you met them? Do you have one of them mentoring you? Wouldn't that be a privilege that somebody who's known to be a leader, a thought leader in your domain, has agreed to mentor you? Because standing on the shoulders of the giants, that is what has helped so many of us to grow. I remember every time when I received a new offer in my professional journey, it was always through somebody that I knew, that they recommended me on my behalf in my absence. They said, "Oh, for this role, Aniket is best. Please contact him." And I used to get a call. So then it is our network that becomes our net worth. So Identify the best people in your network, the leaders in your domain, and make them as a part of your network. So grow your
Right.
network is also another one. So that those are the few recommendations that I have for any upcoming speaker. I'm sorry,
Yes.
I actually have one more. I actually have one
Oh,
more. And that one
please,
is
please.
about building habits. It's about building habits.
Um,
We
right.
are the result of our habits, which is why when you have encouraged or when you have created a habit, that habit is going to give you a lot of benefits. If you go for a walk every morning, and if you like to listen to podcasts, in that case, your health goal can actually be married with your educational goal. And you can listen to podcasts as you walk, as you work out. So, in that case, marrying your goals also gives you that additional edge, and doing it consistently is important. Where if you have been doing something, this is a question that I want to give to each and everyone who is listening to our conversation right now. On the
Yes.
LinkedIn live, I see there are 14 people watching us live. I have this question for each and every one of them, all those 14 people. um, what is that one thing that you have been almost every day in the past 3 years? That one thing that you have done consistently in the last 3 years. It could be reading your newspaper, it could be listening to podcasts, doing research on your topic, it could be any of those. But find out what is that one habit that has been that hidden thread, as you mentioned, the garland earlier. What is that hidden thread among that garland that connects all of these things together?
Yes, absolutely, Aniket. You have mentioned it beautifully, and I think when you speak about habit, the books that comes to my mind is also Atomic Habit by James Clear, and one of the books which I came across recently is Big is Small by Amit Agrawal, where he also talks about small habits every day and discipline in our lives. So,
True. There is
and I
one
think
more book that I
regarding,
would like to recommend, and
please,
that book is Unleash the Giant Within by Tony
yes,
Robbins. Brilliant
yes.
book where he talks about a similar concept.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the additional comment also we got from Brigadier Sir is that apart from reading books, you need to watch TEDx also, and he's
Yeah.
shared few more points. So that's really wonderful. Now that we are coming towards the end of this wonderful talk show, and I'm really enjoying it personally because whatever you are sharing is simply amazing. I have a lot of points to take personally. I mean, I'm going to try and follow them. So thank you for that. So how we are going to proceed further is I'm going to have a rapid fire round with you, like just three small questions, a
Okay.
simple one. And meanwhile, I'm going to ask the audience in case they have any questions. You can please post it. We'll take it up one by one. So you are ready for the rapid fire round?
All set.
Aniket, yes, all geared up. Right. So the first question is, which book are you reading currently?
Okay, which book I'm reading currently? The book that I'm reading right now is called Pegasus. Pegasus is a spyware, and there's a brilliant book written on that. That is one book which I'm reading, which is called Pegasus. And second book which I'm reading with my daughter, we are doing it every night, and that book is called Christmas Carol. And
Okay,
it's a fantastic book, Christmas Carol, humorous book, and we were just laughing out loud as we were reading one of the segments yesterday.
that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. And next question is, what's your magic mantra to make the public speaking successful? I mean, I know there are multiple, but one magic mantra you would like to share.
Well, the magic mantra would be keeping the main thing the main thing.
Okay,
Okay, where if as a speaker, if you are here to share a message, we keep that message strong and we stay loyal with that message. So as we do that, we become a really honest speaker, we become a genuine speaker, and there is a lot of demand for genuineness in the market.
right. So being, I mean, I can take it as being genuine or authentic in your speaking. That's what
Yes.
you mean, right? So
Yeah.
it's like you connect more with the people. That's when you connect
True.
with the people. That's right. That's
And
wonderful.
being genuine helps you to connect with the audience. It's all about that
Yes,
connection,
exactly.
because
Yes,
when they invite you on the stage, the moc is going to read a huge introduction about you, and a lot of people in the audience think that, oh my god, such a long introduction. I am not at all like this person. And so actually the introduction can set the audience to think they are very different from you. But then as they listen to to your story, a lot of them will think, oh, he is just like me or she is just like me. So the more they feel that you are just like them, that is what makes the connection.
yes. I think it's being relatable. And
Hmm.
also, one more analogy I think we can draw here is about movies. When the
Yeah.
movies, when we find them uh, uh, like close to us, or the story, relating to us, we find it more interesting. So usually those movies also become quite hit. So
Very
similarly, when
true.
your talk is more relatable to the audience, it becomes a hit. So that's wonderful. And next one I would like to ask you is, who is your mentor in the field? I know there would be multiple people, but maybe the first mentor, or the one who you
Yeah.
feel has contributed more. Yes.
Sure. Sure. See, I would say I was desperately looking for a mentor about 5 to 6 years ago, because I heard about the importance of mentoring in some of the TEDx speeches and in some of the books as well, and in a lot of scriptures that I read, like Ramayana and Mahabharata. So I wanted to have a mentor as well, and that is when, um, as I mentioned earlier, Arun Ramaratnam, he is my mentor, and somebody who has been giving me great guidance for the past many years. Now, while Arun Ramaratnam has been teaching me or guiding me, I have found a lot of mentors in books. For example, I have found Tony Robbins. I consider him as a mentor for me. Les Brown when it comes to public speaking. And then I also have one more person called Vishal Sarkar. First time I saw somebody having a professional speech, that was him, and he will always be the person who inspired me to become a professional speaker. Then one more person whose name is Bhupendra Bhai Pandya. So he has been a mentor. Many of these have been YouTube mentors for me, where I literally follow everything that they do, and I watch every video that they post. So from Mr. Pandya, I heard and learned a lot about the religion and also about storytelling. I think these are my mentors.
Right. So it's I think it's all about learning and growing. So we have another question from the audience. Miss Astha has asked, how much does choice of chapter matter in terms of proximity to my city, considering offline events? I'm in Jaipur, so Delhi should be my choice, or doesn't matter. So if you would like
Great
to answer
question.
this.
Sure, sure. Great question, Astha. Yes, so we do have chapters in different cities, and when you become the member of a chapter, the chapter is going to have some of these in-person events. Not just the in-person events, but you should connect with the members of that chapter. And for that to happen, the physical proximity always helps. Those are two things that I would like to mention. Third thing is, as you aspire to become a professional speaker, you would want to know where the market is. If I'm living in Bangalore, I would want to explore the market in Bangalore first. Although I can definitely go global as well, but then that physical proximity also helps you to explore this opportunity in and near to your city. So I would say the proximity matters, in my opinion, and the others in the audience can always share their opinions as well. But thanks a lot for the question, Asta.
Right. Right. Thanks, Aniket, for answering that. And it was absolutely wonderful talking to you, because I think all the points and nuggets and everything what you have shared is superb. A lot of takeaways. I believe not only one or 2 points, but the entire talk. I personally felt was filled with a lot of points, and we are winding up now. It's been a great conversation. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for being on this show, and that's all. Thank you, everyone, and thank the audience also for joining this show and being a great support. Thank you so much. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you so much, everyone. Thank you, Sonali. And I would also like to thank each and everyone who joined in this
Yes.
virtual session and have been with us throughout the entire session. So many questions and comments that we've got. So it was a privilege to be a part of this online show. I would like to thank PSAI for inviting me to be a part of this show. And also to you, Sonali, for being such a fabulous host of this show. Thanks again.
Thank you, Aniket. Thank you, Sachi. Sachi has also mentioned it. And thanks, everyone. Thanks, each and every audience. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.